Hi, my name is Emily. I am a faithful follower of Christ, and I'm addicted to sugar, flour, and binging, which is one of the two main topics of this video. How I navigated another urge to binge. And guess what? These binge urges come in so many shapes and sizes, and my brain comes from so many different angles. My addiction tries to get me to binge for so many different reasons in many different ways. And last night was an interesting one right before I went to bed. But instead of filling my belly, I went to bed and got a great night's sleep. So this is my video on yet another realization. You know, my mom recently said, she said, wow, my goodness, after you've done this for a year and a half, you know, it seems like you're still learning so much. And I am. I say that life is one big learning curve, and I hope to still be learning in my 90s. So here we go. Let's hop into this. Bye. Okay, good morning. It's 5:39. I have until 6:15 to take care of myself before I wake 5 kids up. So I am going to read my Celebrate Recovery Daily Devotional, and I'm going to open up the book of Philippians and start reading a little bit about like the beginning. So this is not a study Bible. I might use my study Bible for this. My life application, let me show you. Life application. Oops, I dropped it. New International Version, NIV Study Bible. I'll show you. So, I've mentioned a couple times that I lead 6 women. I'm leading 6 women through the Bible right now. Okay, here it is. This big old thing. It's so awesome. If you guys don't have one, I just highly recommend this. Life Application Study Bible, NIV. So I'm leading 6 women through the Bible. We're on book like 13 or 14, and we are starting. We're starting the book of Philippians on Sunday. So if anybody wants to read it with us, oh look, I've done that before and flipped these off. If anybody wants to read it with us, here's your invitation. Join us. We're going to start on Sunday. I don't know exactly when we're going to be finished, but I'll find out today, because there's 7 of us and we take turns choosing a book of the Bible. And my sweet Sylvia has chosen Philippians, which is going to be a good one, because that is where Philippians 3:14, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There are some good quoters in this one. This is Paul. It's a letter that he wrote to the Philippians. I don't know. I need to learn more about it, but lots and lots of gems in this book. And anyways, I will find out today. So each person that chooses the Bible, they also choose which Sunday we start on. And we just finished Exodus this past Saturday. So instead of starting on Saturday, whatever that was, Saturday, January 31st, instead of starting on okay, we finished on Saturday the 30th. And instead of starting on Sunday the 31st, we are starting on Sunday the 7th. So we kind of had a week for everybody to get caught up, because we're also reading bits of Psalms and Proverbs throughout to get those 2 books read simultaneously. So I officially have whatever 15 plus 18 is. 33. I've got 33 minutes to myself right now. I'm going to read the Celebrate Recovery Bible, the devotional. I highly recommend this off Amazon for $8. Great way to start your day. You don't have to write in it. You just read it. It is written by these 3 men that wrote the Celebrate Recovery curriculum, especially John Baker and his son Johnny Baker, all out of Saddleback Church in California. I am going to, in these 33 minutes, I'm going to do that devotional, start peeking at Philippians, read 2 bottles of water. No, drink 2 bottles of water. And not read. Wouldn't that be funny if I was just like, brushing up on my water? Okay. And then I'm going to eat my 2 ounces of sausage and 1 egg, 1 piece of Ezekiel bread, 6 ounces of pineapple, and get all ready and make my bed in like 32 minutes. So, but I want to talk to you about an interesting thing that happened right before I went to bed last night, like 2 seconds before I went to bed. And that's why the title of this is B.I.N.G.E, 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 and I don't want to binge. No, I don't. Last night I did, and I almost did, and I'll tell you why. Bye. Okay, the book of Philippians, vital statistics. It was written by Paul, the Christians at Philippi. Key verse, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. And it was written to thank the Philippians for the gift they had sent Paul and to strengthen these believers by showing them that true joy comes from Jesus Christ alone. Amen. Okay, so this study Bible, let me show you. It has like half and half. It's like Bible, and then down at the bottom, it has commentary on almost every single verse. So much information explaining stuff. And you all can see, grab some Bible highlighters and an ink pen. And I highly recommend interacting with your Bible to help you learn it. That's a teaching trick when I used to teach school and would encourage kids to take notes or highlight or whatever to learn. Just get in here, interact with it. And anyways, again, it has like the top half is like Bible and the bottom half is all this commentary explaining everything. But not only that, it has tons and tons of maps and the like, as opposed to a Bible like this that has no commentary at the bottom, or one of my favorite little Bibles that I've always used when preaching sermons. I love this little Bible. I can toss it in my purse. And it does not have any commentary at the bottom either. And I actually like that sometimes because there are times where I don't want to study. I just want to read. I just want to fill my mind with the words of the Word. And there you go. God loves you. And I'm trying to find Philippians here. I don't know where it is. Somebody tell me. There it is. Okay, so like Philippians, first of all, this is a tiny little book. There it is. Philippians. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's really tiny. In this Bible, it's only 1 page or 2 pages. I guess so. It's only 4 chapters. My goodness. Okay, I bet we'll probably read this in like 1 week. We never read in less than a week. We always take at least 1 week. But anyways, you can see here in this Bible, there's no commentary at the bottom. It's just the Word. I love it. I feel grateful and fortunate to have several Bibles, and I have one on my phone too as an app that I can read when I'm out and about in the car rider line or something. But I just feel grateful to have. Look, this is when I was doing a 14-day challenge. Committing 14 days of bright line eating to God, Greg, and myself. This was not my first 14-day challenge. This was another one that I did as like a refresher in August and September. My food, said Jesus, is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. Later, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you. Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion for someone to devour." And this verse actually says self-controlled and alert, and a lot of times it says be of sober mind. So, depending on the translation. Someone in the comments asked me this morning to make a video about how I feel now, about how much better I feel now that I've lost less weight. And that's what my Bright Line Eating 1-year update videos are all about. And I feel hormonally amazing. Didn't expect that. I didn't realize how out of whack my hormones were. But they are, when you carry around extra weight like that, your hormones cannot do what they are supposed to do. And so we stay out of whack. Like leptin, the hormone that's released to tell us that we're full, is blocked when you're severely obese. So when someone who's really overweight starts a meal, they end up feeling hungrier when the meal is over. And I remember that so well. I remember leaving restaurants hungry, and I'd go home and I'd stop on the way home and get ice cream, and then I'd come home and eat leftovers. The hunger was so just relentless. But also, let me tell you how I feel. And again, it's in those videos, the 1 year update videos. I feel available. I feel present and available to those around me, which is what I got going on. I got to go now. I've got 18 minutes until I've got 5 little kids to feed and get ready for school. So there's all that. We're jumping into Philippians Sunday. If you want to join us, great. Again, we'll chat in a minute about B.I.N.G.E. Bye. Yum. 1 piece of Ezekiel bread, 1 egg, 2 ounces of sausage. I put some salsa in there so that when I heated it up, it sort of steamed instead of just cooked to a crisp. And 6 ounces of pineapple. Great way to start the day. Grateful for this fuel. Okay, here we are. So, I like my shirt. Dare to resist drugs and violence. And I bought this while I've been on this journey. Daring to resist sugar and flour. Imagine that. I ran into another friend the other day at the post office, and she said that she was wanting to know what I was doing to lose weight, and she said, "Are you still doing that thing?" And I said, "Yep, I'm still doing bright line eating." And she said, "Oh yeah." She said, "I just really struggle with sugar and stuff like that." I said, "Yeah." And I said, "You know, you might be addicted." And she said, "Oh, I'm definitely addicted." And she said, "But there's just no way to avoid it." I said, "Oh yes, there is. This bright line eating." So thank you, Susan Beers Thompson. Thank you for this way. John 14:6, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And I'm so happy he's given me a way. So anyways, I have been messing around for like 20 minutes trying to get some good lighting. You all should have seen me. I was like over there trying to sit on my bed and like, anyways, I give up. I think that a little makeup would help, but I'm just not willing. I'm not willing to put on makeup because I'm pretty excited to get rolling on this day. I've got 3 kids in school right now, 1 middle schooler here that's going to do his school online, and somewhere around this house is a little preschooler staring at an iPad. So, and I'm pumped to get going on things around the house because we're going to start renovating soon. So, but anyways, I wanted to share this with you, these thoughts about something interesting that happened last night. You all know I have dealt with mental health issues, some severe 2 major depressive episodes, once when my oldest son was a newborn baby. And I've always been grateful for the gift of a shred of lucidity in the midst of the insanity. So in the midst of the depression, waking up day after day with these thoughts that were so negative, I can remember thinking, this can't be right. I remember what it was like to be me 6 months ago, happy and healthy and active and motivated, and I thought this can't be right. These thoughts can't be true. Everything that I'm thinking about myself and my life, this can't be right. And so I decided the next morning I'd start writing down all my thoughts and challenging them to see if I even agreed with them. And I could tell by 10 o'clock in the morning every thought I was having. Thoughts are chemicals. So if we have a chemical imbalance in our brain, then we're going to have a thought imbalance in our brain. And I just knew that I was gripped with depression. And that has always been a gift that I'm grateful for, that in the midst of the insanity, I have some shred of like objectivity where I can like analyze my own behavior and my own thoughts and think somewhere in there, my brain's battling like, this isn't right. This isn't me. And guys, that happened a little bit last night. So here it was. I made a wonderful dinner for my family. I did not realize that my husband was going to a cattle sale down the road. So he was saying goodbye right when I thought he was going to be saying hello. And he left, and I fed 5 kids spaghetti and garlic parmesan toast. You guys, delicious, right? So like you get out the little bread or the butter brush. My 8-year-old was brushing all this butter on, and then we put it under the broiler and made the most delicious smelling and looking like garlic parmesan bread. And anyways, oh, I could use a little makeup. I might put a little on. So anyways, I made this awesome dinner. Let me show you now. 5 kids eating spaghetti and garlic parmesan toast while I enjoy a cup of decaf. I could not be doing this without the support of all y'all. Okay, so that was the delicious meal that I made last night, and you all can see I sat there available to my kids just to chat and talk, not obsessing over how much I was eating, not obsessing over how many calories, how many cups, how many servings, or if I was going to have enough points left over for dessert, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes the easiest thing to eat is nothing. So I sat there with my decaf coffee, thoroughly enjoyed every moment of hearing these kids rave about how yummy it was, but then not hearing much because they were all tearing into it. 5 for 5. That doesn't happen very often. Oh, and look, ding, some makeup. So I told you I was not willing to put it on. Yes, I was. The more I stared into this and saw, oh, it was looking like kind of like red. I don't know. Guys, this is a funny thing about this. Let me just tell you. I've lost so much weight fairly quickly, but because of coronavirus and this pandemic, I haven't seen people. So some people have not seen me since I've lost 90 pounds. And I have had more than one person. This lady yesterday actually told me, she said, oh, when I told her what I was doing to lose weight and how healthy it was, she said, oh, Emily, I'm so relieved. She said, she's 85 years old, this lady. She said, I was afraid you were sick. She was people, and that does make sense to me. And I've kind of joked with people, but I'm not joking. I tell them, when I go out now and people are so shocked by the weight loss, I try to have my hair and makeup done a little bit so that I don't look ill, because people are like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to lose so much weight? And I'm so glad that it's really good news and that I'm not sick. And if I went out there looking real bad, I don't know that I could encourage, or I guess encourage is the word. I don't know that I could convince anybody to do this with me if I was just looking like I was at death's door, like, it's bright line eating, do it with me. No, I don't think they'd want to. So anyways, ding, that's better. I also want to look as good as I feel, and you guys, I'm feeling fantastic, especially since I did not binge last night. So let me get into this. So fed the kids. My husband was not here. Bathed them. We got homework done. I helped my 14-year-old with some functions, some algebra functions. I dipped into my old love of algebra. I mean, things were going great, and got everybody to bed earlier than ever. And by the time my husband got home, I was pretty wiped out. And he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "I'm just done. I'm just so tired." And he went in the other room, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, "Oh, Emily, you look rough. Really, just bad, just like gaunt, just like black circles, just And Susan Pierce Thompson talks about, don't let your family and friends freak out about your weight loss, because you will kind of fill back out when you get on the maintenance plan, when you're no longer asking your body to operate at a deficit, when you're no longer asking your body to dip into stored fat for fuel. And by the way, the fat that we have stored is not the best fuel. It's not the top grade fuel at the gas station, like what we eat every day and what we will eat on maintenance. I mean, top grade, excellent nutrition. When we're asking our bodies to burn up stored fuel, we're asking them to burn up stored poison, right? So you're not going to feel your best. You're not going to look your best. You just got to get through that phase of the weight loss. It's exhausting. And again, you're kind of, you're kind of burning some like blah, kind of not so great fuel. But I have burned almost all there is to burn. I'm getting close to my goal weight, but I'm not there yet, so I'm not ready to add food back in maintenance. So last night I looked in the mirror and it was just like, it's like my body's like sucking the life out of me. It reminds me of every time I was pregnant. And I could just tell that there was this extra human being in there that was also leeching from my leech, parasite. These are not the best words to describe the gift that those babies are. But what they do to our bodies is very much that they need the nutrients that we have, and that's kind of what my body's doing right now. It's kind of like taking from me instead of me just giving to it every day, like I'll be able to soon when I'm on maintenance. So anyways, by the end of a long day, I looked in the mirror and was like, oh girl, you need, now hear this, my addiction at 9:15 last night, and I was home free. 5 out of 5 kids were in bed. 2 out of 2 puppies were in the crate. It was time to lay my head on that pillow. And I immediately started thinking, you need a dose of calories. Quote unquote, a dose of calories. Now, there's ghrelin involved there, and I have 2 videos with the word G-R-E-H-L-I-N, ghrelin. It's the hunger hormone that visits us at night, especially women. Sorry, my contacts are kind of messed up now that I put makeup on. It visits us at night, especially women, and convinces us to eat, stuff ourselves so that we can crawl into bed and gain weight to keep us from starving. So it's a very real thing that we deal with. But this is what I want to point out. B-I-N-G-E, B-I-N-G-E, B-I-N-G-E. It doesn't matter what you call it. So my brain came close to convincing me, oh, Emily, you've just lost 5.4 pounds in 3 weeks. And I knew that because I weighed yesterday morning. And you've lost 99.4 pounds. Girl, you need a spike in calories. You need a big dose of calories. And I was a little bit torn, wasn't sure what to do exactly, so I reach out for a voice of reason, my sounding board, my husband, some objectivity, get these people in your life. Do not operate on your own. You cannot trust this brain of yours when it's addicted. So I went to my husband, I said, Greg, I want to eat. I just want to eat. I want a dose of calories. My 16-year-old was sitting right there. He probably doesn't love hearing all this blah, blah, blah talk about food, whatever, but whatever. So he's sitting there eating a big bowl of ice cream. And I went and found my husband. I said, I want to go eat. I want a big dose of calories. And he said, no, Emily, you're so close. You're so close. I said, so close to what? He said, so close to losing 100 pounds. I said, oh, I will still lose 100 pounds. You know, even if I go in there and have a dose of calories. And he said, but you said you wouldn't eat sugar and flour alone. I said, I'm not going to eat sugar and flour. And I said, is it just my streak? Why would I not right now? Why would I not? And he said, Emily, and he looked at me and he said, you need sleep. You really just need sleep. Let me say 2 things. Why would I not? Because I don't want to reinforce that behavior. I don't want to tell this brain of mine that every once in a while, if you kick and scream hard enough, I will give you permission to binge. And when I call it a dose of calories, that is such a sneaky thing my brain does. Rewording it, okay? A friend of mine pointed out once that yes, when we're pregnant, we need extra calories, but she said about 300, right? This girl, you know those people that dance, but then they also flip up and down on like fabric hanging from the ceiling? She does like acrobatics. She's got 5 kids, 4 of her own, and 1 she adopted from an orphanage where she was teaching dance lessons. Anyways, she is fit as a fiddle, and every time she was pregnant, she said, you know, it's interesting, people know you need more calories when you're pregnant, but you really only need about 300, and she said, that's like a muffin and an apple. You guys, when I was about to convince myself to have a dose of calories last night, I was not thinking like anything in the realm of a normal snack. I was already starting to think, what all is bright line friendly that I could get into? And that is a long list of cheese, high fat, high salt, it's no sugar, no flour, but cheese, bacon, mayonnaise, butter, Ezekiel bread, Ezekiel cereal. I could go in there and what sounds benign, like a little dose of calories, would absolutely be a B.I.N.G.E, a binge. And I wanted to. I just had a day yesterday where I wanted a full belly. But that's why this is a highly spiritual experience, battling the flesh versus the spirit. And I want to be empty. A friend of mine sent me a devotional years ago that was just excellent about we've got to be empty so that the Spirit can fill us. And we want to be empty literally and figuratively and just available for Him to do a work in us. But yesterday I had one of those days where I just wanted a full belly, right? Don't you ever just want a full belly? And right before I went to bed last night, I was seriously considering letting myself do that. My husband said, you really need sleep, just go to bed. So I did. I went to bed, slept from 9:30 to 5:30 this morning, woke up feeling amazing. I have energy. I had energy this morning. I ate my bright breakfast. I'm so glad I didn't binge. And the whole point of this video is, it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter if you call it a dose of calories, or a fun night out with the girls, or a holiday celebration, or a little me time, or a pity party. A binge is a binge is a binge is a binge is a binge. And if we could have kind of like in the range of like normal, kind of just like a lot of people do, I say, look, you might be a lab. You can watch my video about being a lab. I need portion control with food. I have done something to my brain that makes it always want more. Enough is never enough. There are people that do not struggle with that, and I do not envy them for not, because they struggle with other things. I'll deal with what I've been dealt to deal with. But if you don't have a problem with portion control, then you probably don't have much of a problem with your weight or addiction or any of it. But for those of us that do, we know what we're doing when we say, you know what, I'm just going to let myself have whatever I want tonight, or this is going to be a special night or a special occasion. It doesn't matter how you repackage it. It doesn't matter how you reword it. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. A binge is a binge is a binge. And I'm so glad I did not binge last night. So B.I.N.G.E. I had my son look this up for me this morning. I said, what is the lyrics to that song? There was a boy who had a dog. And he said, no, he looked it up. There was a farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, B.I.N.G.E. Okay, so there was a girl who had an addiction, and binge was part of it. B.I.N.G.E. B.I.N.G.E. B-I-N-G, it doesn't matter what else I call it, that's what it is. A binge is a binge is a binge. So, there was a girl who found some freedom from binging in sugar and flour. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We have so much to celebrate. Ding! Okay. I never was a cheerleader, but maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so let me end on this note. If you want to join us reading Philippians, we're going to start February 7th. Displaced behaviors. So where you used to binge, where you used to obsess about food, if you take all that away, there's going to be a vacuum. There's going to be a void. You're going to have to start filling it with other things. My video, displace, replace, and remember, okay? Displace, replace, and remember. We have to displace behaviors, replace behaviors, and remember that healing is a process. So if you want, you can replace some of your behaviors and displace some of those bad ones with good ones by reading the Bible with me and the other 6 ladies that I read it with. But no matter what, know that I love you dearly. I hope that you have a great, great, great day. And I'm just happy to report that I did not binge last night, even though my brain almost convinced me to go into the kitchen and have a dose of calories. And guys, let me tell you, it would have been a big, huge dose. Nope, didn't do it. Dare to stay away from sugar and flour. dare to stay away from the behaviors that got you in a pickle. I hope we can all continue moving forward together. So, like I said last night with my little decaf coffee, you know, it takes a village. It takes a village to keep us sober, and I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy to have you guys is what I'm trying to say. Oh goodness, let's wrap this up. I love y'all. Bye. P.S. So I just found out from my group, we are giving ourselves 2 weeks to read that tiny little book of Philippians because, like I said, we also have Psalms and Proverbs that we're reading along with it. So the book of Philippians between Sunday, February 7th and Saturday, February 20th. So if you want to join us, there's your little window. Philippians and some Psalms and Proverbs. I am making a daily habit of getting up and reading the Bible every day. This neat guy that I knew once said, Bible before breakfast, Bible before bed. So, I am doing pretty good to at least do some Bible before breakfast. And Matthew 6:11, give us this day our daily bread. So that Matthew chapter 6 verse 11 is tucked right into the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Woo! Okay, so Matthew 6:11, give us this day our daily bread. You guys, that's by design. And I taught that to I even made little bread necklaces. I got little bread charms and gave them to all the high school girls at the church when I was a youth minister. That's by design. God asks us, He teaches us to pray, give us our daily bread. It is by design that God wants us to come to Him daily for our needs to be met, for Him to be our provision, for Him to provide for us. Think about how much closer you are with people that you speak to daily than with people you speak to on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. We all have family and friends that we see once a year, and they do not know the details of our lives, so how could they help us with the details of our lives? There is no prayer too big or small to pray, to thank God for, or to ask Him for. Pray ACTS, with adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. So we adore Him, we confess to Him, we thank Him, we ask Him. There's nothing too big or small. I, years ago, started asking Him to help me with my hair because I do not want to spend time on it. I want to get it done. So I'm like, oh, please let this be a good ponytail. You know, anybody, y'all know what I'm talking about when you like have to keep redoing it? I mean, come on, that's not how I want to spend my time. So anyways, no prayer too big or small. Matthew 6:11, daily bread, not our monthly loaf. Okay, love you guys. I'm right in the middle of putting laundry away, making that bed, and then I will put some puppies outside. I don't know. Back at it. Love you guys. Bye.